Malcolm, great to finally meet you. Thanks for coming in.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Malcolm, VR has obviously been around for many years, but you know the last decade or more has seen huge innovations in the space. Talk to me about what some of the exciting implications have been for VR applications as it stands, because I think for a long time it was a bit of a pipe dream, and the technology had to sort of catch up with the vision and the dream of VR.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I refer to it as the friendly face of the fourth industrial revolution, because a lot of the times, like, we're looking at drones and automation and AI and going like, where are we going to find like space for humans in the workplace? Where with VR, we're looking at it as a way to supplement the training that people are getting from textbooks and looking at how we can take it into remote, dangerous, and impossible situations that are generally costly, and being able to scale consistently the message that you're getting. So that's kind of, for us, the application and where it makes sense. In terms of learning, because we take in 75% of the content and information that we process in our brains through our eyes, it becomes a very visceral experience. So you feel like you're actually experiencing what you're learning. So your retention rate is 75% higher than it would be in anything else.
Yeah, and for people who aren't au fait with what virtual reality is or how it works, you've alluded to the fact that you're experiencing what you're learning. But just a very briefly explain to us how it works and what it is.
Okay, so I think the easiest is to look at a headset like this. If you put it over your eyes, it basically takes the rest of your reality away and puts you into a 360 immersive reality. So wherever you look, you're seeing what we've created inside you.
From every angle.
From
you
every
can look
angle.
up, down, behind you, and you will see that specific environment.
Correct. So it's not like looking at a two-dimensional TV screen anymore. Everything you see is what we've created for you to experience inside that environment. And it could be computer graphics, it could be filmed, it could be a combination of the two. So it's really creating a new reality for you to step inside and be immersed in, and the immersion is what creates the sense of this is a real experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be trying on the VR goggles very shortly, but let's talk about what you're doing with Clearwater. Obviously in the US, you've got things like Google Expeditions, which allow children in school to go to faraway places that they've never been before, to swim with sharks, to, I don't know, to hike the Appalachian Trails, whatever it is. Tell me specifically about what Clearwater is doing in terms of education here at home and in terms of training as well.
So as far as education is concerned, we haven't really moved into that space yet. Like you mentioned, there's talk about moving into schools. For us, it's about training and learning. Learning is more kind of how we look at it, because it's education and it's training, it's upskilling. Where we're kind of looking at it being useful is that it doesn't take away the teacher's role. It doesn't take away anybody's job, which is why it's the friendly face. It's there to offer you an experience that you wouldn't ordinarily have. So as an example, when children go to a planetarium or a museum or an aquarium, you're able to look at what's happening in front of you on display, but you can then lift up the headset and go further. You can actually go underwater and learn about the fish and the coral reefs and how, like, different things have different impacts on things in ways that I couldn't explain to you using words.
Exactly. You found really innovative and exciting ways, thrilling ways, I think, to explore and play with virtual reality, for instance, and you've moved into the art space with your Centre for the Less Good Idea, lovely name. You found ways to work with artists and help them innovate and play. Tell me a little bit about that, and let's move on to what you're doing with other established artists in the Tomorrow Gallery. How have you incorporated VR and VR technology into art?
So we did some work with William Kentridge's Centre for the Less Good Idea, and from there we realized that there was the opportunity to play with the technology. So rather than just sending it out into corporates or into schools and not knowing whether it was robust enough to actually deploy, we found that artists are a lot more open to experimentation, and it gave us the opportunity to play with the technology to the point that we could break it. And once we've broken it, we can then figure out how to fix it again, and it's robust enough then to deploy. Artists are also very experimental, and they're willing to take risks, and we did a great exhibition with Mary Sabande, and we've done work with Lady Scully and Wayne Barker as well at the Tomorrow Gallery. And the Mary Sabando was a great experience because we took the headsets, put them into 3D printed masks with Mary's face on them. So you actually had to be immersed as Mary. You assumed her identity to be able to experience her work and her message.
Can I try that? I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously that whole art piece and that artwork, rather, that body of work, was called the Purple Shulgappen, right? You took it to the Venice Biennale, if I'm not mistaken?
Crescendo of Ecstasy.
Was it the Crescendo of Ecstasy?
Yes, so it was that statue, the centerpiece, yes, traveled to the Biennale, but then we reinterpreted it. So the creatures that were spinning around, or swimming around her, came to life, as well as the dogs and the vultures. So
lovely.
It was an opportunity to take what was a static exhibition and create movement into it.
Lovely. So you're now you're switching on, I guess, the goggles. Let's talk about the goggles, actually, whilst you're testing it. Obviously, it used to be expensive to be able to play with and experiment with VR. Innovations like the Oculus goggles have brought down the barrier to entry, and pretty much anyone can play. Am I right in saying that you have even cheaper solutions to this? There are even cardboard or just cheaper headsets like this?
So the Oculus Go was the game changer. Previously, you had the cardboard headset, which was kind of the easiest way to get into virtual reality that Google had started. There you still needed a handheld device, a mobile device to put into the front of it. Here, everything is built into it, and it's at a fraction of the price.
Let's try it out.
So you're going to use this controller over here, and just hold that down so that it starts again.
So I hold this down?
Turn it around the other way.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, there we
the
go.
Bottom button. There you go. And then you just pop it on.
Okay, so you can see. So now I'm looking at a purple statue, and I'm moving around. So I'm in a gallery setting, essentially.
Correct.
I'm actually in the Tomorrow Gallery.
So what we did was we 3D scanned Mary's statue and all of the creatures around it and created a digital twin of it in virtual reality. So when you were looking at the statue and you put it up to your face, you would see the sculpture in the middle of the room, and everything around it would start to come to life.
So I could ostensibly be anywhere in the world and join any event that's happening in South Africa by virtue of having a headset and being, having the correct software.
We did it with the Soweto Derby. We had 360 cameras at the Soweto Derby and live streamed it to Facebook and YouTube. So you could feel like you were actually in the stadium, live at home, watching it from any device.
Absolutely fantastic. It's really great to see South Africans innovating right here at home with our own creatives, using our own content and coming up with new ways to just push the boundaries much, much further. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in studio. That was creative technologist Malcolm Che joining me in studio talking virtual reality.